Hello, hello. I am going to wait not even a couple minutes, but just wait a little bit until people come in. This is a full Seattle trip update. I got stuff coming in on my phone. But yes, so my trip to Seattle, I went on a trip to Seattle with my mom for research purposes to look for apartments and just to get a feel for the area and where I wanted to live. And after doing research, just kind of see it with my own eyes. And so I did that November 11th, 12th through the 16th. I felt like I was there for a very long time, but I was only there for 5 days, but it felt like forever. But in a good way, not in a bad way. Bad way in the sense of I don't like being in a hotel for very long, but it definitely felt like home. So just to kind of get into it a little bit, I loved it. I was very happy. I know that is like the place that I'm supposed to be in this next phase of my life. It really felt like home. My mom really liked it. And I know that she is wanting to retire soon. And so she's definitely trying to figure out like what she likes and where she would want to live. And so she likes the Seattle vibe. She likes the city. She likes, that fast paced, like walk wherever, go to a store or go to, a restaurant. She likes that. I, on the other hand, did not like that. I know that about myself in general, that I'm not like a city girl. But yeah, it wasn't for me. It was just too fast paced. It was just too much. It was nice to look at. It was beautiful, but the city of Seattle is just not for me. But I had done a lot of research, and not only did I do a lot of research, I reached out to people and people reached out to me, and I had a lot of great help. And so I talked to a lot of people about kind of like, what are your suggestions? Like Seattle, the city, like what would you suggest? And so I came across like three main, my phone is like sliding, y'all, but three main cities that I wanted to investigate a little bit further, and those were Redmond, Bellevue, and Kirkland. And so, of course, everybody has their own take on what those places are like, especially like if you are from there versus if you move there. People have their own opinions. So what I decided to do was, like I said, go and see. So I had like maybe 12 to 15 tours for apartments the whole weekend. And so I wanted to have at least 3 or 4 in each area. And what I decided to do was, like I said, just get a feel for it. Did I like the area? Did I like what was in the area? Did I like the restaurants? Did I just like the vibe of the area? And so I settled on Redmond. I really, really liked Redmond. And I think from the perspective of someone who is moving to the area, I think it's like the perfect place that you feel safe, you feel comfortable. There's enough there that it still kind of feels like a city. It's like 20 minutes from Seattle. I really, 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 really felt like Redmond was home. And so I did find an apartment. So everybody's question, like, well, how was Seattle? Did you find a place? Do you like it? Do you love it? XYZ. So I did find an apartment that I really did like. And so it was crazy because like I just imagined in my head, like I need a 2-bedroom because that's kind of what I'm used to. However, the two bedroom apartments were not that great to me. So I ended up choosing a 1-bed, 1-bath apartment, and I love it. I never would have thought that I liked a 1-bedroom, but it was a lot of space, and it just had that homey vibe. What else? So I have had a couple people reach out and say that they're interested in moving to the Seattle area themselves. And would I give any tips? So my first tip is going to be like, do your research. Look into the areas, look into what areas you would like to live. talk to people who live there, talk to people who have moved there, talk to people who've been there for 5 years, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever, or born and raised from there. That's what I would suggest. And then like my best friend Ken, he is moving to North Carolina next year. And one of the things that he suggested is I should get on some of the Facebook groups for those areas, for like if you're moving to those areas, or if like you're a new resident, or just like the neighborhood. And so that also helped me a lot too, because that helped me figure out what the neighborhood is like, what the people are like. I thought that was pretty cool. So that was a great idea. So that might be something, if you're looking into a certain area, you might want to join a Facebook group for that area. But everyone that we talked to, especially like if we went to a restaurant or if we went to a store, I mean, everyone is so friendly. Everyone was just so nice and so friendly. And I don't know if that's what made it feel like home, is just because everybody's like, oh, do you need anything? And I'm like, yeah, So that was really helpful, that just everybody just like, they gave their 2 cents, but not in a nasty, like snooty way, like don't live here or you should go over there. It wasn't like that. It was just really genuinely, I want to help kind of thing. So I really, I think that made it feel like home a little bit too. So a lot of people ask, like, how was the food? Because if anybody knows me, knows me, I've been kind of like on a health journey as far as like weight loss, but also like I don't eat meat anymore. It's like chicken, turkey, red meat. I don't eat meat anymore, but I consider myself like a pescatarian or a vegetarian. Either I'm going to eat something with no meat, or I'm going to eat something with like seafood. And so I just appreciated all of the options that I had, because like my mom could eat anywhere because she eat. But I, on the other hand, am always usually worried about like, what can I eat? Y'all, the food was so good. When I came back home, both of us, when we came back home, it was like, we got to eat this. Like, we got to be here. I don't know. Like, the food was so good. The food and the atmosphere. The atmosphere was just open and just healthy and active. Like, everybody's like on a bike. I mean, even at nighttime, like it's 8 p.m. It's really super dark and people are biking. And I just thought that was so cool. So it was just the atmosphere as a whole really made me happy. Because I'm a cook, I cook at home, but if I want to go out and eat, there are plenty of options, and that made me feel good. I did try a few restaurants. I tried like a few seafood restaurants and a few vegan restaurants, and yeah, I mean, that's got to be my home, because I don't want to eat here much longer. I'll just be honest. I made a little concoction and it's pretty good. What else did people have questions about? I mean, obviously it's super expensive, so there is no question about that. It's very expensive. However, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it to go move, get a lay of the land, and then maybe find something less expensive. But realistically, everything is expensive. So, I mean, I'm not saying that I got it like that, but I think that I'll be fine, I don't think that I got to strip no time soon just to move. So that's good. What else? We went hiking every day. We found parks every day, different attractions. So there's a lot to do there. Even with COVID, it was a lot to do. Everything is safe. Like, everybody was so like had on a mask. Everybody, I mean, like, it wasn't a question of like, oh, I gotta wear my mask. It was just like, you could see people coming out of their house with their mask on. Like, they probably had a mask on in their house. Like, I don't know, but it just seemed like really, like, everybody was on the same page as far as like making sure that we have to keep safe. Like, everybody like talked about it. Like, I don't know what's wrong with these other states and these other places. They're not wearing masks. Like, we're wearing. So it's just everybody, it was on their mind to be very conscientious about wearing a mask, being safe, that kind of thing. What else? I don't know. I just enjoyed it. I can say that I went there and I enjoyed it and I fell in love, and I just feel like I am happy and comfortable with my choice. I think when I was there, what I thought about the most when I was there is how thankful I am that I did not allow people to their negativity and their poor ideas of me moving away, or poor ideas of what like a young black woman, single black woman moving away looks like. I didn't let any of that affect me. And so I think I thought a lot about it. Thank you. I thought a lot about it when I was there, and I thought like, man, if I would have listened to even one person, I mean, because even if people are not saying things negatively, if they're saying, oh, that's nice, or, you know, I'm happy for you, you can see in their body language, you can see in their tone, or people just give you a blank stare and you can see and you can feel it, you know, that they don't really support you. And I think even though that didn't make or break my decision, I didn't really care, but it's just the idea that it was more of that than, oh, you know, I'm so excited for you. I'm so happy for you. You deserve it. You know, you're going to have a great time, a great life there. You're going to do great. It was more of the negativity. And so I really thought about that a lot, and thought about what I would have been missing out on had I continued to, or if I had even taken them into consideration, because I didn't. When I first told my mom, like, hey, I'm moving to Seattle, she was like, okay, we moving? When? What's the, you know, let's tell me something. So it was, you know, because like my mom was like my best friend, it was so good to have that. And my granny, of course, like if I tell my granny I'm moving like 2 blocks away, she's going to be like, okay, well, have you looked at, you know, grandmothers are just like that. They just want the best for you, and they want, they want to make sure that you're good and that everything is good, and, you know, that everything is safe. But she was very supportive. So my family has been very supportive. I haven't had any issues with that. It was just like some friends, and I'll even say like some church members, I felt like I didn't get the support that I needed. And I think I thought a lot about that more than anything. Just like, man, if you had have supported me, had of, I don't know. If you would have, had of, if you would have supported me, I'll just go with that. I feel like my desire to have a relationship with you when I move would be very different. And I know that my relationship with a lot of people has currently changed, and it will change even when I move. I mean, like, it's pretty much like null and void at this point. But I feel like if I would have been supported by a lot of people in the way that I needed, and I'm just like speaking very frankly and honestly, I think that relationships would have been mended. I don't have any ill will towards anybody, but just keeping it real. Like, when people tell you they have a dream or a goal or something that it is that they want to do, and you give them a blank stare, or you're like, well, I don't know about that, or where you get that from, or, you know, everything they got there, they got here. That's not helpful. I don't know what makes people think that that's what people want to hear, or, I mean, even if you think you're doing the right thing, it's not helpful. And so something that I did was I mailed myself a postcard. I was very spontaneous, and I was like mailing postcards, and I said, I need to mail myself a postcard because I need something to remind myself of the feelings that I was having when I was there. Not necessarily like feelings, because I'm going to remember how much I loved it and how excited I was, but the feelings of confirmation. That's what it is. Like, I had feelings of confirmation, and I wanted to remind myself of that. And so I said, Sierra, this is a reminder to you to follow your dreams and seek out adventure. Don't be afraid to step out on faith. I think so many people don't do that enough. I think this year has shown us why we need to more, why we need to be more adventurous, be more just open-minded, fight for what you wouldn't normally have or get. I mean, I think about Chadwick Boseman, and I think about so many people who have passed this year and so much that is going on this year. And my idea is that, like, you still want to be closed-minded? Like, you still don't want to do nothing? And so I think about that, and I'm like, I know when I was there just how free I felt. My only concern about moving to Seattle, I'll be honest, is one thing. Biking is not my ministry. And I felt as if it was so many people biking, I'm going to have to get a bike. And like, that's my only concern. Like, that's the only thing I've been really struggling with. I'll be honest. Like, that's the only thing I've been struggling with. Like, I got my apartment. Like, I know what restaurants to go to, but I'm not a biker extraordinaire. I'm not great at it. So if for anybody who is thinking like she's out of her mind, still thinking that she's going to move, I have no concerns. I have no issues. I have no, I'm not double-minded by any means. Like, that's my new home. I'm visiting here right now. Like, I'm just here on like borrowed time, as it seems, but that's my new home. I have like no concerns about it. But I think I did a very good job as far as like researching and going and visiting, especially during a pandemic. It was just so crazy even to think of visiting at this time. Like, I just think now that I'm thinking about, like, man, like, I was risky. Ooh, but you know, we were very safe. Like, I'm going to post all my pictures and like everybody can see, but like my mom and I were so safe. And like I said, like in Seattle, like they take it super serious. Another one of the things that I wanted to talk about was, for me, it as a like black woman, not just like, you know, I'm black, you know, I'm black, right? And so for me, being a black woman who, you know, wants to support black businesses, black people, black everything, and be appreciated for who I am and my blackness, it was so refreshing to, I mean, like the night that we got there, or it was either the night that we got there or the following night, there was a Black Lives Matter protest. And not saying that I'm so crazy about the group Black Lives Matter, but the fact that like you see flags, you see signs, you see everything in Seattle was Black Lives Matter. And that impacted me in a very positive way. That made me feel more connected. And it made me feel like, as a person who is going somewhere I still don't know much about, it made me feel like people would be comfortable with me being comfortable in my blackness, because I'm comfortable with who I am. But it's a lot of people who not comfortable when you comfortable as a black person. So especially like Midwest in this area, it's a lot of people who like, they like, oh, you confident in black? Oh, hell no. That's a problem. Something's up with that. What you got going on? So I did not feel that there. I feel it here. But I did not feel that there. And that was so refreshing. So that was a big deal to me. But like I said, like all I'm worried about so far is like, I need to be practicing my biking skills, because like I said, that's not my ministry. Because everybody had a pet or a dog. And I'm like, I really need a dog. Like I guess I gotta like jump over that hurdle of having a pet, because like everybody had a pet. And I will say that one of the things that I was like a little uncomfortable with is like you would see restaurants and like people got their dog in the restaurant. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of cooking from home. But besides that, I think like I said, I have no issues, no ill will toward anyone, no negative thoughts about my moving. I know that the city is not for me, but I found the place that I want to live, and I'm very happy about that. So if y'all have any questions about my trip, please feel free to ask or reach out. If you have any questions about like how I did my research, please feel free to reach out or ask. I'm like that open person. If I can help you, and even if you're not moving to Seattle, but if you're just thinking about moving, like my cousin, she you know was saying she was a little afraid because she really wants to move to Atlanta, and I was like, Move, girl, go. But I think it's such like a, I don't know. I just think it's such a scary thing for a lot of people, the idea of moving. I really do, and that's fine. But I think it makes it scarier when you don't have the support, or you don't have people that are like, do you need help looking up apartments? Do you need help looking up this area or that area? I think that matters too. So for anybody that's moving anywhere, like if you need help or suggestions, I know people who live somewhere, okay? I might not know nobody that live there, but I know people who know people. So there's that. But I appreciate you guys for coming on and watching this video. If you have any questions, or if you have any comments, or if you want to know anything else in depth, let me know. I will be posting all of my pictures. Some of them are not so great. Me and my mom, we had a great time. We clowned, okay? Yeah, we acted like we lived there for real. We had a good time. So, yeah, thank you. Thanks. I'm excited. I think that it's going to open a lot of doors, and not just like, because everything is about like your career and everything is about work, but I think it's just going to open a lot of doors for me growing and changing as a woman, as a person. What made me decide to make the move? So this is what honestly, I think the job market, well, like I'm working as a behavior analyst and a counselor. So I think the job market is very well for that specific. Like, I don't know anything else besides like my profession, but I think it's pretty good. I connect with Indeed, and I'm telling you, like, they looking for people everywhere. But what made me decide to move was I felt like I started to feel like this was no longer my home. And I have been feeling that way, honestly, since about 2014. If anybody knows me, like, they know I have been struggling to live here probably since 2014. So for the past 6 years, I've really been struggling just being here. I love home. I love my family. But for whatever reason, like, when you just kind of feel like your time somewhere is expiring. And I felt like I have been here past my date. Like, I'm expired, like I'm probably smelling bad at this point because I shouldn't be here. I know that it's still things that while I'm here, God is going to bless me, and God is going to show me things, and he's going to, impart things into me while I'm still here. But I had that feeling. I know I'm expired. I know. But I had that feeling like, okay, I'm supposed to be somewhere else. Now, then I had to really think, like, where would I go? Seattle was not on the list. I'm thinking, like, where would I go? Vegas, just because, like, I'm trying to be fun because I think I'm young, but but I don't know, like, Seattle was not even close. Honestly, I really wanted to move to Canada or the UK. Like, I don't know. I mean, and I probably still will, but I just kept having dreams about Seattle. Thank you. I kept having dreams, and I kept seeing it everywhere. How when you see something, it's on your mind, it's on your mind, it's on your mind. And I'm like, like, ain't nobody going to Washington. Like, who is doing it? Like, I'm like, are there any black people in Washington? Because no. Where the black and brown people at, right? Yeah, no, honestly, it was just dreams. It was just little things, like just little things. And I kind of felt like it was almost like subliminal messaging. And I'm like, I'm not going. And honestly, like, I'm a spiritual person. And so I had, like, God told me in a dream in like 2018 that I would be moving to Seattle. And I said, no. I said, I moved to like, we all know I ain't going down south. So I said, like, I might move to Chicago, I'll move to North Carolina. I go to New York, I'll go somewhere, but I'm definitely not, going down south. And I'm like, what's in Washington? What's in Oregon? Like, I don't know. But I think a lot of things happened to me, and they happened to me because I had kind of shut that down. And I think God was trying to show me, like, that's what I have for you. if it's for a month, if it's for a day, that's what he has for. Like, it's something there for me. And so I started really looking into it, and then it was like, everything about Seattle just seems great. You know, I'm like, okay, it's black people there. You know, what is it? So I really started doing the research for myself. And my mom really started I wanted to live in kind of the Seattle area and Canada. Like, she had been talking about it, and like, you know how your mom be talking about something and you be like, okay, but I don't know, she was really consistently talking about it. And then she's like, oh, you're gonna find a fine man, because I watch Hallmark and all. Y'all, my mom was crazy. She watched all these Hallmark Christmas movies, y'all. But, you know, I watch Hallmark, and all of the fine actors and all the fine men and all the movies are in Seattle. I'm like, okay, you know, but whatever. You can't tell your moms these things. But I think that what it boiled down to was that once I accepted that that's where I was supposed to be, a lot of doors open for me, and a lot of doors open for me internally. Just my mindset and things that I felt were heavier on my heart were no longer heavy on my heart. And so I think if I would have decided to move anywhere else, I'd probably be miserable, and I'd probably change my mind. But like I said, I don't feel any double-mindedness. I don't feel any doubt. I feel nothing but excitement and happiness, besides, you know, bike riding, which I need to work on a little bit more. I don't have any issues. So if that answers your question, Shakayla, it's a little bit about a lot. That's how Seattle came about. Does that answer your question? Girl, they got them like how, you know, you got the little bikes and stuff here. Well, you're not here, but how you can like put your little card in and you can rent a little scooter or a bike. They have those too. But I would love to get what's that thing called? Not a hover round. What's that thing called? Is it Segway? I would love to get a Segway. We went down to or up to, where did we go? Myrtle Beach last year, my mom, my brother, and we did a Segway tour, and it was so cool. And I was like, man, I gotta get one of these. So I would probably do a Segway. But yeah, Segway. But I don't know. Like, I don't want to be that person who's like riding a Segway and then everybody's biking. Like, I don't want to be a loser, you know? So I just gotta up my biking game. That's it. Yeah, and I got to get a dog, which I already got a dog picked out. Yeah. Well, if you guys have any other questions, I'll answer them. It's going to be a lot of first, a lot of, when I move there, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of uncertainty and a lot of like, what do I do next? What do I do now? There's going to be a lot of that. But I mean, when I moved out of my house, my mom's house for the first time, like, or when I moved, you know, went to college, you have that. But I'm very excited. And like for my like friends, like, I'm excited for y'all to come visit me and see everything. So that's fun. I'm excited for that. I think just having a new life, and I say new life like I'm dying, but it kind of feels like that in a good way. Like all of the negative things that I held on to here, because it's here, I don't really have to deal with. Like it becomes a choice. I mean, it's a choice now. And a lot of things I do just leave by the wayside, but I think it'll be a lot easier to move on from things and choose positivity when, you know, you in a different area. So I am also excited. Yeah. Oh, that was so extra dramatic, but I am going to let you guys go. I appreciate you. Thank you for asking questions. Shakayla, I need to come visit you and you need to come visit me, okay? We need to do some visiting, girl, and we can do that. Is it called bi-coastal? I'm not geographically sound. I'm just going to throw that out there. I don't know. But we can be bi-coastal friends, girl. Like, you come to me, I come to you, boo. It's going to be so fun. But yes. All right, I am going to let y'all go. I really appreciate you coming on and speaking positivity and asking questions. And I don't mind answering questions. I appreciate it. I love you guys. I will talk to you all soon. Bye.